What is the culture school of strategic development? Well, researcher Henry Mintzberg proposed 10 different frameworks or schools for understanding how strategy arises within organizations. One of those schools is the cultural school. That is, culture is the primary driver for how organizations develop their strategy. Now, with that being said, there are numerous premises associated here. First, strategy itself is simply a process of social interaction that's based upon the belief and perception shared by the members of the organization. So the individuals will thus acquire their beliefs through the process of socialization. That is, the common understandings that perpetuate the environment. Now, these can be verbal or nonverbal or tacit, if you will, but they affect the beliefs of others in the organizations. Sometimes even the policies or the doctrines of the organizations have a similar effect and are socialized among the individuals. Now, the members of the organization usually cannot consciously comprehend the socialization that's going on. That is, socializations happen subconsciously. It becomes part of an attitude or perspective. So these perspectives or beliefs, if you will, become the driving forces there behind cultural development. Now, with that being said, the genesis of these perspectives come from reflecting upon the collective purpose concerning how the organization and the people in it view their valuable resources and their capabilities collectively, and how those resources are allocated and used for the purpose of competition or establishing some form of organizational competitive advantage within the organization. So once again, perspectives focusing on how resources and capabilities are employed. Now, so with that being said, once again, strategy is not fully conscious or it's subconscious, but it is deliberate in nature concerning, again, this allocation of resources. Okay, so culture itself, and particularly the ideologies that are associated with it, has the effect of perpetuating existing strategies, but it also has somewhat of an unintended effect of resisting strategic changes. That is, the culture perpetuates strategy, and the strategy self-perpetuated continues and thus is resistant to change. So it is important to identify how change in culture and thus strategy might occur in the organization. So researcher Bjorkman in 1989 suggested several means by which strategy can change, even based upon this cultural view. And he said it happens in 4 phases. One, you have strategic drift, and that's some gap between the organization's principles and the environmental characteristics in which culture is interacting with the environment. That could be workplace conditions, it could be market conditions, that is the conditions under which the organization is competing. There can be a breakdown of the culture itself for any number of reasons, perhaps through new hires or attrition or new leadership or splitting off of parts of the organization. So any external changes that occur, so culture no longer matches it, or the firm's culture is now inconsistent with it. Sometimes organizations experience our environmental factors and they constantly try new approaches, right? They experiment and see how things work and result from their efforts. And this experimentation can honestly give rise to new means or methods of doing things. So as such, the embedded beliefs that drive a particular strategy might begin to change. So you start to unhinge those embedded beliefs. And then lastly, stabilization. So once you've had drift, cultural breakdown, the trial and reformulation of approaches to strategy, if you will, and thus it has the effect of changing culture in a way. Then you have the stabilization phase, where success in what you're doing or positive feedback from the members or individuals in the organization start to re-solidify or institutionalize the new culture such that you have acceptance of it and commitment to it. So this was once again Mintzberg's Cultural School of Strategic Development or Strategy Development within the organization.